Dear Leo, this message is not just important, it's urgent. Something big is lining up for you this Tuesday, November 18th. And if you don't pause and receive what the universe is trying to say, you might miss a moment that could change everything. This is not a metaphor, and it's not drama. It's the kind of shift that realigns the pieces in your life, the kind of shift that often starts with a whisper, but ends in a breakthrough. Let me ask you something, straight and real. Have you been feeling like something's coming? Like the air around you is heavier, like you're carrying emotions that aren't even yours? Maybe your sleep has been restless. Maybe you've had conversations that left a strange aftertaste. Or maybe, deep down, you've just had that silent knowing something is off, and it's about to get real. That's not random, Leo. That's alignment. The universe speaks in whispers before it shouts, and this video, right now, is the whisper turning into a roar. So if you found yourself here, it's not because of the algorithm. It's because your soul asked for a sign and the answer showed up right on time. There's something about November 18th that you need to see, need to hear, and most of all, need to feel. It may come as a message, a truth, a realization, or a shocking reveal, but it's going to hit you. It's going to move you. And if you're ready for it, it's going to free you. You've been holding on, maybe too long, to a version of life that no longer fits. You've tolerated things out of loyalty, out of hope, or simply out of habit. But Tuesday brings clarity. A kind of divine confrontation that calls you back to your center, back to your truth. You don't have to fight. You don't have to prove anything. You just need to stay present and receive what's been trying to reach you all along. And before we dive into what the cards and the stars are revealing about your week, let me take a moment to thank you for being here. Every time you click, comment, or share, even silently, helping grow a space that's about more than horoscopes. It's about healing. It's about remembering. It's about returning to the you that knows. And your presence here right now means more than I can explain. Thank you for walking with me. Now, if you're feeling something stir inside you, if you feel like this might just be for you, then keep it to yourself. Leave a comment to affirm your presence. Just say, I'm ready for my truth, or this message found me for a reason. That small action, that intention you put out, becomes a signal both to the algorithm and to the universe that you are listening, and you are open. So, Leo, ask yourself, what brought you here, really? What energy are you carrying that you're finally ready to release? What truth are you ready to face without fear? Stay with me until the end of this video, because what the universe is showing for you this week, it's not just powerful, it's sacred. Let's walk through it together. Sometimes, Leo, the truth doesn't arrive with a parasite, crashes through like lightning on a quiet night. That's what November 18th is shaping up to be. A moment where clarity doesn't whisper, Anna Marie, it demands to be seen. And the energy moving around you right now isn't soft. It's not asking permission. It's correcting something. It's returning balance where there's been too much pretending, too much carrying burdens that don't even belong to you. Let's talk about this: Justice, the Tower, and the Six of Wands. Three archetypes that don't mess around. Justice isn't here to punish, it's here to restore. To bring things back into alignment. But here's the thing most people overlook: it requires your participation. Justice calls you to speak up, not just to others, but to yourself. To stop pretending something is okay when your body, your spirit, your energy is already screaming otherwise. You can't lie to the universe. You can't lie to your soul. And on November 18th, neither will let you. Now the Tower. Most people fear this card. And sure, it brings disruption. But it doesn't destroy what's real. It only breaks down what was false, what was fragile, what was built on shaky ground. You might lose an illusion this week, Leo, but what you gain is far more valuable: truth. Not the kind you read in a book, but the kind that lives in your bones. The kind that wakes you up in the middle of the night and won't let you rest until you honor it. That's sacred. That's freedom. And that freedom leads you right into the Six of Wands. Victory, but not the ego kind. Not applause for the sake of it kind. This is the quiet, proud kind of victory that comes after you've walked through fire and didn't let it change your name. It's the reward of being honest when it would have been easier to hide. It's the light that finds you after you stop dimming yours for other people's comfort. So yes, this might be the week where something gets revealed. A secret, a motive, a misalignment. But don't brace in fear, breathe in relief. Because what's coming out into the light was already happening beneath the surface. You're not being punished. You're being cleared. And when the dust settles, you'll see it wasn't a breakdown. It was a breakthrough. We live in a world that often rewards silence, Leo, especially when it makes others comfortable. But this week, the call is different. It asks you to take your voice back. To stop holding up someone else's version of peace and start protecting your own. It asks you to let go of what you've been trying so hard to fix, even though deep down you know it's not yours to fix. And here's something I've learned personally, and through guiding thousands of others: life has a way of removing what we refuse to release. Not out of cruelty, but out of mercy. Because the longer you hold what no longer fits, the heavier it becomes. You don't need to break, Leo. But you do need to let the false fall away. This moment, this astrological alignment, this energetic shift is your permission slip to return to yourself. And no, it won't be loud. It won't be dramatic. But you'll feel it in the quiet corners of your soul. That unexplainable peace. That weight lifted. That deep exhale you didn't know you were holding. If you're listening and some part of this is ringing true, take a second. Not to overthink, not to analyze, just to feel. Feel what your body's been trying to tell you. Feel where the tension lives. That's where the truth is waiting. And if you're ready to claim that truth, say it in the comments. Let your intention become declaration. I'm ready for what's real. Because sometimes, the simplest sentence unlocks the deepest shift. And sometimes, all heaven's waiting for is a yes. Leo, when you're ruled by the sun, you're not meant to live in someone else's shadow. But sometimes, without even noticing, you start dimming your light to make others comfortable, maybe because you didn't want to lose them, or maybe because they made you question your own glow. That happens more often than people admit. And it usually starts subtly, a moment where someone's words feel off but you let it slide, a pattern where your energy seems to shrink when they walk into the room, or a habit of second-guessing yourself when you used to speak with fire. That's not weakness. That's what happens when you love deeply and trust too easily. But now, you're not that same version of yourself. And this week, life's about to show you exactly who never truly had your back. Astrologically, Leo is the center ruled by the sun, driven by truth, fueled by courage. You don't pretend well, and your spirit doesn't tolerate fakeness for too long. When someone around you lives off manipulation or projection, your soul knows. Even if your mind tries to reason it away. And this is where the Tower energy sneaks in again, not to punish, but to clear. November 18th, something or someone will be revealed. A mask will fall, maybe not with drama, but with precision. Suddenly, what once confused you will become crystal clear. That knot in your stomach, the heaviness in your chest, the sense of being drained after certain interactions? It wasn't just stress. It was a warning. A lot of people think losing a connection, especially one that seems significant, is a failure. But let me say this as someone who has seen these cycles play out over and over. Sometimes, a loss is not a failure, it's a realignment. You were never meant to keep dragging dead energy behind you. You were meant to walk forward with dignity. The truth is, not everyone around you was clapping for you. Some were only close enough to feed off your warmth, but never had any intention of keeping your fire lit when you were low. And if you've been feeling tired without cause, having trouble sleeping, waking up with your heart racing, or having vivid dreams that stir emotion, your body is speaking. That's not random. That's your energy field processing the emotional load you've been carrying for too long. It's clearing. These signs are often dismissed as just stress, but from an energetic perspective, they're clear markers that an old contract and emotional agreement you never consciously signed is dissolving. Now, here's the deeper part of this. What you're moving through is not just the end of a chapter, it's the return of your authority. This is where you stop outsourcing your power to people who've never earned your trust. This is where you return to your center, not angry, not bitter, but deeply awake. That's the real Leo energy. Not the roar. The knowing. The unshakable clarity that says, I remember who I am. There's something incredibly liberating about realizing that the version of you who tolerated mistreatment no longer exists. That you no longer need to keep explaining your worth or overextending just to be enough. You were always enough. But now you see it. And that's what this moment is about. You're not broken. You're being brought back into alignment with the truth of who you are. So if anything falls apart this week, then chase it. If anyone shows you who they really are, believe them. Let the mask fall. Let the false connection collapse. Not because you're giving up, but because you're finally choosing yourself. And trust me, Leo, there is nothing more powerful than a heart that no longer hands its fire to the wrong hands. Now ask yourself, what have I tolerated that no longer feels like love? What part of me is ready to come back online? And most importantly, what am I no longer willing to carry? If those questions hit something inside you, let it out. Leave a comment and say, I'm reclaiming my fire. That one sentence can open a doorway, because once you speak your truth, the universe responds. Always. Sometimes, the breakthroughs that feel sudden are actually the result of everything you've been planting quietly, even when no one was watching. That's exactly the kind of energy that surrounds your path this week, Leo. After what might have felt like months or even years off holding steady while others overlooked your effort, the tides are beginning to shift. The momentum is changing. And this time, it's turning in your favor. Not because luck finally found you, but because life is finally catching up to the seeds you planted in faith, in patience, and in solitude. If you've ever wondered whether your silent work mattered, the answer is yes. The universe has been keeping score in ways the world can't see. And now, in the days around November 18th, an opening appears. This may show up as a financial breakthrough, an unexpected opportunity, or an overdue yes to something that had been paused for far too long. Maybe it's a contract you thought was dead in the water. Maybe it's news about funding, a job, or an idea that finally finds the right support. Maybe it's a call or message from someone in a position of influence offering you the very thing you thought you had to give up on. But here's where it gets deeper. This isn't just a transaction. It's a confirmation. In numerology, the date November 18, 2025 adds to 2 a number of sacred alignment, of partnership, of duality coming into balance. That energy shows us that what is meant for you isn't just about individual success, but about being in harmony with people and systems that now reflect your true value. You've outgrown situations that once made you question your worth. And now the new doors that open aren't asking you to shrink or overprove. They're simply opening, because your presence speaks for itself. This is also a test of discernment. Because as your light grows, the temptation to turn around and prove yourself to those who never saw you clearly will rise. Don't take that bait. You've got nothing to prove to anyone who once made you feel replaceable. The energy of this week says, you are not returning to old rooms where you had to beg to be seen. You're walking into spaces where your voice, your presence, and your vision are welcomed without apology. There's a humility to this kind of growth that many don't talk about. Yes, this is your moment, but not in a loud, showy way. It's in the quiet confidence of knowing you didn't quit. Of realizing that all the inner work, all the realignment, all the moments you wanted to give up but didn't, that's what created this shift. The law of attraction doesn't reward desperation. It rewards clarity. And right now, the clarity you've built within yourself is beginning to pull in the tangible rewards. Still, don't rush it. Let it come to you. Be open, but be grounded. If the email comes, read it twice. If someone offers you something, feel into it. Does it match who you are now, not who you were when you first started dreaming? The right opportunity will feel like ease, not pressure. Like alignment, not performance. If this is resonating, I invite you to pause and ask yourself, what are you finally ready to say yes to without hesitation? What are you no longer willing to delay? Let the answer live inside you for a moment. Then write it down, or better yet, comment it here. I'm ready for my next chapter. Say it not for me, but for you. Let the universe hear that you're no longer waiting, you're available, grounded, and willing to receive what's always been yours. Because Leo, this time, the light is not just returning to you. It's rising from within you, and it's time you let it be seen. The night before a shift often holds more power than we realize. It's the pause before the page turns, the moment of stillness when you choose to leave something behind without needing to understand it all. And on the night of November 17th, Leo, you're invited into that sacred pause, not to perform, not to manifest in desperation, but to gently signal to the universe that you're ready. This isn't about chasing luck. It's about aligning with what's already been trying to find its way to you. There's something deeply symbolic about lighting a white candle. Across traditions, it's not just about the flame, it's about intention. Fire purifies. It makes visible what was hidden in the dark. When you light a white candle that night, and place your hand over your heart, you're not just doing a ritual, you're having a moment with your inner truth. And when you say the words, I release what has ended. I welcome justice. What belongs to me will find me in light and truth, you're not begging the universe. You're stating what's already in motion. You're simply meeting it halfway. That act may seem small, but energetically, it's a powerful declaration of self-trust. And sometimes, that's the part we skip over. We expect external shifts without doing the inner honoring. But what changes everything is the moment you stop pretending you're okay with staying in a version of your life that no longer reflects you. This ritual is not about control. It's about surrendering to clarity. It's about saying, I no longer chase, I allow. Then, the next morning, November 18, when you rise and your bare feet touch the floor, that's your grounding. That's your reminder that you're rooted, not rushed. You take a breath and affirm, I am ready. I am steady. I am guided by a higher light. This isn't performance. It's positioning. You're stepping into your day not with a to-do list, but with quiet alignment. That's the energy that magnetizes. Not striving but becoming. Color plays a subtle but powerful role here too. Gold isn't just about wealth, it carries the frequency of recognition, confidence, and dignity. When you wear or surround yourself with golden tones, you signal to your subconscious, I deserve to be seen, and I don't have to shrink to be safe. Pearl white, on the other hand, is a cleanser of energetic residue. It's not loud. It doesn't demand. But it clears space like a gentle wave that washes away what no longer belongs. When you combine these colors, gold and pearl, you create a frequency of elevation and renewal. One honors your past effort, the other makes room for what's next. None of this has to be dramatic. You don't need incense swirling or hours of chanting. This ritual works because you do it with your whole heart, not because it's perfect, but because it's honest. And when it comes to energy, honesty is everything. If you felt drained, uncertain, or even numb lately, don't panic. That's often what happens before the energy shifts. Your body is recalibrating. Your soul is catching its breath. So give yourself that quiet space on the night of the 17th. Let it be simple. Let it be real. Light the candle not for spectacle but for connection. Say the words not as a spell, but as a truth you're finally ready to stand in. And on the morning of the 18th, stand up not as someone waiting to be saved but as someone who already knows, the path is here, and I am walking it now. And if you feel something shift as you do this, don't second guess it. Let it move through you. Let it settle. Let it guide you. Because what's on the other side of this day, Leo, is not just about opportunity. It's about becoming. Becoming someone who no longer questions their worth, their timing, or their light. Becoming the version of you that was never lost, only waiting to be fully welcomed home. Love, Leo, has always been something sacred to you, not just a feeling, but a force. When you give it, you give fully. You don't hold back, and you don't fake it. And when you've been hurt, it cuts deep because your heart doesn't operate halfway. So when someone from the past begins to circle back, when you sense that familiar presence returning, it's natural to feel a rush of emotions. Curiosity. Caution. Even hope. But this time, something's different. Because you're different. There's a quiet power in the version of you that exists now. You've outgrown old stories. You've sat with your pain long enough to know what it taught you. You've done the work. You've walked through your own darkness without needing anyone to hold the flashlight for you. That matters. That process, though invisible to others, built a strength in you that can't be undone. So when that person reappears, whatever their story is, you'll feel it in your body before your mind tries to make sense of it. You'll know if their return carries truth or just nostalgia. And that's the thing about forgiveness, it's not the same as reconciliation. We often confuse the two. Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself. It's what unclenches your jaw, releases the tension in your chest, lets you breathe deeper at night. Forgiveness is not an open door. It's not a sign that someone is entitled to walk back in. It's simply you saying, I'm not carrying this weight anymore. I don't need revenge. I don't need closure. I need peace. And I choose it now. If they've changed, you won't have to ask. You'll see it. Their energy will feel calmer, cleaner. Their actions will speak before their mouth does. But if they return with only regret, only words, only a hope that you're still the person who once said yes even when you felt not, that's your cue to lovingly release them. Not with bitterness, but with the knowing that you've already moved beyond that chapter. True love doesn't ask you to shrink. It doesn't require you to dull your light or make yourself easier to hold. It expands with you. It grows beside you. It makes space for your voice, your needs, your brilliance. You've learned that now, haven't you? Through every broken expectation, through every silence you sat in alone, you discovered the kind of love you're truly worthy of. And it starts with the love you've rebuilt within yourself. This isn't about proving anything to them. It's about proving something to you. That you can love deeply without losing yourself. That you can be open without being naive. That you can be kind without being a doormat. That's growth, Leo. That's wisdom. And that's where your power lives now, not in control, but in discernment. So if the past comes knocking, ask yourself, is this here to heal me or test me? Is this return a reflection of who I am now, a pull back into who I used to be? Trust your gut. Your body never lies. And neither does the peace you've created since walking away. If this part of the message stirs something in you, take a breath. And when you're ready, affirm it aloud or write it somewhere you'll see it. I can forgive without returning. I choose peace, not repetition. That sentence alone is a doorway. Walk through it at your pace, and know that on the other side is a version of you that no longer needs to be rescued because they remembered how to rescue themselves. And that kind of self-love? It doesn't just heal. It transforms. Leo, what if the shift you've been waiting for isn't out there, it's already within you, just waiting for a little bit of space to unfold? That's the invitation this moment offers. November 18th isn't just a calendar date, it's a mirror. A mirror that reflects back the version of you that has survived, grown, and outshone everything that tried to dim your fire. This isn't about what's been taken from you. It's about what's finally returning. You've done the inner work. Quietly. Faithfully. Without applause. You've sat in moments of doubt and still chosen not to abandon your vision. And now the energy begins to shift not just around you, but through you. But here's the key, this shift won't carry you forward unless you say yes to it. Not a timid, maybe one day kind of yes, but a grounded, embodied, I'm ready kind of yes. And that begins with how you choose to show up today. Think back for a moment. What have you tolerated that you've outgrown? What have you been holding that was never really yours to carry? And more importantly, what truth have you been quietly whispering to yourself but haven't yet dared to say out loud? This is your moment to answer those questions, not for anyone else's approval, but because your next chapter depends on it. And yes, it might feel scary. Growth always does. But fear is not your enemy. Indecision is. And I say that with love, because I know what it's like to stand at the edge of a new version of yourself and hesitate. But you didn't come this far to stay where you are. You came to remember your power and to use it. So here's my invitation, go back to that ritual we shared. Light the candle. Speak the words. Feel your heartbeat settle back into its rhythm. Let it become a sacred pause between the life that was and the life that's about to begin. Not because the ritual changes the world outside, but because it changes the way you're anchored within it. And when the opportunity shows up, whether it's in love, career, healing, or even just a deep moment of clarity, don't doubt it. Don't downplay it. Don't talk yourself out of receiving what is rightfully yours. This week, your alignment is stronger than your history. Your peace is louder than your fear. And your truth is ready to take up space. Now let me ask you something honest. If everything you've been asking for knocked on your door tomorrow, would you be ready to receive it? Would you believe you're worthy of it without needing to explain or earn it all over again? If you feel that inner yes rising, I want to hear it. Leave a comment below and write, I'm ready to receive what's mine. Because your words matter. They set intention. They move energy. They become declarations that call your future closer. And if this video resonated with you, if something in your heart softened or straightened or stirred, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share this space with someone else who might be walking their own quiet storm. Every action you take helps keep this community of deep feelers, seekers, and soul-led creators alive. And I don't take that lightly. So thank you for being here. For choosing presence. For choosing growth. You, Leo, are not just walking toward the light. You are the light. The real question is, will you let the world finally see it? You're not alone on this path. You never were. And what's coming next? You won't want to miss it. Stay with me. Let's keep walking together, step by sacred step in eternal mindfulness.